Every moment, every second, every day. Customers are browsing, saving, sharing. Millions of moments, countless choices. Each one creating a journey. The stakes are higher, but that's nothing new. Not for retailers. What it takes to respond is. And that's what drives me. Each great experience earns the chance for another. Customers will be moved by my brand, or they'll just move on. I need to be a guide, not just watching their journey, leading it. But that's easier said than done, and it won't be done alone. I need a partner who can empower me to deliver unlike anyone else. And that's why I expect more. So don't try to sell me on fear. That's distraction, not strategy. Show me the trails you've pioneered to help me lead my customer's journey. Inspire me with AI, not with words, but with years of experience, transforming what takes others months into days. Empower me to personalize with innovation that's revolutionized the industry. Then, do what no one else can. Share that experience, tested, proven, earned like mine. To take bold leaps forward, to listen, anticipate, and define what my customers never knew they wanted. To experiment, wander, and transform their moments of choice into revolutionary moments of growth. Experiences that speak louder than words. It's what tomorrow's journey will demand. A journey I'm ready to lead.
All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the retail leadership session. So apparently we're standing between a lot of people and their drinks tonight, but hopefully we'll have a great time for you here. So let's see if I can go backwards. So again, you saw Ready to Lead, journeys. So our theme today is going to be about journeys and how we really understand consumers and how they use technology and what their journeys are going to be with you as a retailer. And I actually have 3 great customers coming up to support me and tell you their journeys of how they use AWS to transform their business. So this born from retail, built for retailers is for real. When you look at the past and how AWS literally was the birth of the cloud, and everything that AWS has done has been done for customers. And one of those customers happens to be Amazon Retail. And Amazon Retail has driven us at AWS to really drive a lot of the innovation that's going on in the industry. So when you think of things that we've done with voice and Alexa and how we run our call centers, or computer vision that was required to do just walk out, checkout, or just walk out technologies, there's no checkout, with the Amazon Go stores, or how we worked with the Amazon Fresh group to do things like using Amazon recognition to recognize you when you pulled up to get your delivery of groceries. So all of these technologies were innovations driven working with Amazon Retail and AWS services that are now available to you as our customers to use those same technologies. So born from retail, built for retailers. I also want to just give you a quick update of where we are in retail, because I know we like to read almost every week about how retail is fleeing AWS, and are not. We have thousands of retailers around the world working with us on all sorts of meaningful workloads. So whether that's doing an S/4HANA lift and shift from a data center exit strategy to taking advantage of our 20 years of AI ML and how we help companies get better at personalization or demand forecasting or price optimization, even doing dynamic pricing. These types of things we're working with retailers day in and day out to do. Additionally, lots of work going around the hype term around digital transformation and how do we work with stores on reinventing their experiences when customers are in their stores, or how we reinvent that supply chain so that you can do things to do faster delivery to your customers or get more efficiency and real-time visibility of what's really going on in your stores. So just think about, again, the thousands of retailers that we work with around the globe. Now, typically, there's no set journey for retail. So like I said earlier, you're going to hear from 3 customers in terms of Neiman Marcus being one of the premier luxury department stores here in the US and what their journey looked like, or how Tapestry came in and started working strongly using data science and ML to do their journey, or Zalando, who is one of the or preeminent online retailer in Europe in terms of how they have used AWS to really grow and advance their business. So where we focus on from an AWS perspective is helping you understand these customer journeys and where you can interject your brand into that journey, and then how you can really make that experience with that customer better. So these 3 areas at the bottom of the screen that you see are where we really think our differentiation comes. So how do we help customers with the data that they have really complete their view around getting better customer insights or better operational insights to run their business in real time? Or how do we help you reinvent your legacy? So as we're migrating all these systems into the cloud, how do we take these monolithic systems we've built over the past 30 or 40 years and really start breaking those down into agile systems based on microservices and serverless technologies and purpose-built databases, so that we're not just throwing relational databases at every task that we have to do. And then finally, on the right side, the transform your engagement. This is, again, where I talked a little bit earlier about how do we use computer vision and IoT and AR, VR, and robotics and voice to really enhance that experience when that customer is working with you, no matter what channel they come through. So these are the areas that we bring differentiation to the market, and we think that we can help retailers. So with that, I'm going to let our customers tell their stories. So first up, I've got Sarah Miller coming up, Senior Vice President and CIO for Neiman Marcus, to talk a little bit about what she's doing with AWS. Sarah?
Thank you. Good afternoon and happy Cyber Monday. I'm very excited to be here today to talk to you about what we're doing at Neiman Marcus and how our technology organization is helping the company transform into a luxury customer platform. But I am a little bit nervous about leaving the office on Cyber Monday. But after the day has gone through, the team has gotten it, and we've had a really good weekend and good Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and really killing it right now. So I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about what we're doing at Neiman Marcus, a little bit about our business strategy, and then also talked about how the technology organization is helping the business transform. And then I want to talk a little bit about some of the successes we've had, and then I'll just wrap it up with some of the key takeaways. So first, to introduce Neiman Marcus. We were founded about 100 years ago, and we're one of the largest luxury omni-channel retailers in the world, with about $4.7 billion in sales and 31% which are transacted online. So that's large for a department store. A retailer started out as a department store, so we really have a lot of online transactions. And we serve our customers through 4 primary brands. First is the Neiman Marcus brand. We have 43 stores across the most affluential markets in the United States, and then an online website. And then Bergdorf Goodman brand, we have 2 stores on Fifth Avenue, Manhattan. And then My Teresa is our international brand. And they service their customers through the myteresa.com website based in Germany. And they service about 130 countries. And then our Last Call brand has about 24 stores, and they're our discount and clearance division. So I thought I'd talk a little bit around, first, how the technology organization started our digital transformation about 3 years ago. So the first year of our digital transformation was actually started because we were having so many technology issues in the organization and really a lot of day-to-day problems that were very distracted to our organization, but also disruptive to our business. So to start our transformation, we started with our e-commerce website and started re-architecting the website into microservices in the AWS cloud. So first, that gave us a lot of stability. And so the first Black Friday, Cyber Monday week that we had on the new platform was very high performance and a lot of stability. And so we've had 3 consecutive years of having no online issues during the holiday periods, which is a lot, saying that a lot of other retailers can't say right now. And then the second year, we really got into our transformation. And we were really focused on 3 different areas. First was architecture, the second was culture, and the third was process. So from an architecture standpoint, I established an enterprise architecture team that started building a roadmap for our whole organization and starting to migrate our cloud migration. And then we also started working on how we could start getting rid of all the infrastructure that we had in the organization. Being a 100-year-old company, we have a lot of legacy applications and a lot of infrastructure. And I just didn't want to own that infrastructure anymore and be able to manage it. So moving to the cloud was a perfect answer for us. And then we also started building composable capabilities to be able to re-architect a lot of our legacy applications. And then our focus on culture came next. We were already a performance-driven organization where we focused on our quarterly goals and our business objectives. But that wasn't enough for our organization. Our associates really wanted more. They talked to us about wanting to know that their managers cared about them, that we were investing in their training and their career development, and that we were being innovative. And so we established a caring, learning, and innovative culture. And we started, one of the first things I did is promise the organization that we would invest in their training and committed to a certain amount of investment for every associate. And then we started a lot of innovation within the organization. One of the fun things that we just did this year was see something, say something, which is a crowdsourcing testing process that we use across the whole organization to help the organization help us find issues on our websites, and we fix them immediately. And then we also focused on process. So of course we did things like moving to an agile framework and creating product teams initially around the e-commerce organization. And then we built product teams throughout the whole enterprise where we have every business function and every application that is supported by a product team. And then we've also created some centers of excellence around cross-functional capabilities. And we'll talk a little bit around one of those centers of excellence in a minute. And then we have our business strategy, which that new business strategy started about a year ago. And so it was a good thing from an IT perspective that we were able to make a lot of progress on our technology transformation to be prepared for that business strategy. But our business strategy is all about becoming a preeminent luxury customer platform. So what does that mean? Well, being a luxury customer platform is not focusing just on product that we sell. Because it used to be all around having the right dress, the right shoes, the right handbag that you could only get from Neiman Marcus. But now our customers can buy the products in a lot of different ways. They can go to other retailers, they can buy on pure play online retailers, and they can also buy from the brands themselves. And so we no longer can distinguish ourselves by the product we sell. And so what we believe is we need to be able to build the relationship with the customer and give that customer the luxury experience that they're looking for. So one of the examples of being a luxury customer platform is we've recently invested in a company called Fashion File, which is a reseller of luxury handbags. So we're not getting into reselling luxury handbags, but through this partnership with Fashion File, we've invited them into our stores so our customers can come into the stores, sell their handbags, and then we give them a gift card for a new handbag, and which they can creates open to buy for them and a good benefit for us at Neiman Marcus. So those are some of the examples of what we're doing for being a luxury customer platform. So it's all around being able to provide the services and the experience that our customers expect. And so a little bit more around the technology investments that we've been making. I talked a little bit around having a center of excellences. And one of the smartest things I think we did in our digital transformation was to create a cloud center of excellence. And that is a team of the most talented people in our organization coming together to manage the cloud platform. And so our founder and our leader of our Cloud Center of Excellence is here, Hamath Jayaraman. And I'd like to invite him on the stage to come and talk a little bit around what the Cloud Center of Excellence is doing for Neiman Marcus. Hamath?
Thank you, Sarah. All right. So when we started the Cloud Center of Excellence, we primarily had 3 objectives, right? One, as Sarah mentioned, is cultural transformation, then governance, and also building an automation platform. As a part of cultural transformation, we had to take existing legacy infrastructure and also the people who manage those infrastructure to now play in the cloud. So a lot of evangelizing and lunch and learn sessions. We even had office hours to help transform folks who are doing a lot of the heavy lifting, as Amazon calls it, don't focus on the undifferentiated heavy lifting. So that's what we kind of focused our teams to start enabling them in the cloud. So a lot of education and evangelizing. Then the next part is we focused on governance. Governance in a standard cloud center of excellence at most companies would primarily focus on cost. Here, not only did we have cost as an objective, we also had security and cloud architecture as one of the objectives. So what that helped us is to focus on being transparent with the cost so that all teams have accountability and being able to share that cost and help tweak their applications to lower the cost on a month-on-month basis, right? And then we also help with a lot of security best practices. We set up various foundations like encrypt everything, right? There's no PCI, there's no non-PCI. We didn't do things like that. We encrypt everything, so it makes us easier as we move applications to the cloud. And then we also focused on cloud architecture. And the third part we focused on is helping the automation platform. As a part of that platform, we helped focus building infrastructure as code and pipelines to help various product teams move at their pace, but also follow a lot of the cloud principles, best practices, and help different teams move at different paces. In a nutshell, even though we started with a migration as a lift and shift journey, we quickly transformed into building cloud native applications. So that's where we are today. Yep. Thank you, Sarah.
Well, stay up here for a second. Sure. I want to talk a little bit about the technology advancements that we've made, which are really examples of some of the things that we've done over the last couple of years to move our applications and our technology to the cloud. So first, our cloud migration of our applications. Today, we have about 50% of our applications that are in the cloud, which is a lot. It was a big advancement that we've had over the last 2 years. We started around 5%. So not only are we migrating legacy applications to the cloud, everything we build now, every new application is built new in the cloud. And every time we have a chance to remediate or make a change to a legacy application, we also focus on moving that to the cloud. And then the second, which I'm really proud of, is we've actually eliminated our mainframe this August. We turned it off, we retired it. After my 25 years being in retail, this is the first time I've not had a mainframe in my whole career. So I'm very excited not to be saddled with the infrastructure and the management and the maintenance of the mainframe system. So all the systems all the remaining applications that we had, which are about 5 or 6, we re-architected in microservices COBOL into the AWS cloud. And then finally, this last fall, we've also migrated our data platforms to the cloud. You want to talk a little bit around the data platforms?
Sure. So when we built, we had a lot of legacy data, analytics data. We built a modern data lake running in the cloud, and it involved a lot of the native AWS technologies and architectures. And as a part of that platform, we had huge wins in terms of automation that came with it, and complete transformation of how analytics are being used across our company. And that is a stepping stone for AI, ML, and other things we want to enable on top of our data platform.
And our data scientists and our data analysts are all very, very excited. But Hamath keeps a great eye on them too. So if they're spinning up new environments, he always makes sure that they're being efficient and they're controlling all the regions that they're spinning up as well. Yep. So it's been a very successful journey in our cloud migration, and we're very happy with the progress we've made so far. Thanks, Hamath.
Thank you.
Then to talk a little bit more about the business strategy. So I talked about being a customer luxury platform. And some of the things we've been making some recent investments in specific initiatives associated with moving us through this transformation journey. So first, we've created a digital stylist program. And the digital stylists are similar to our personal shoppers that we have in the store, except now they reach our online customers with that same styling service. They create looks, they create relationships, and they create value to our business by creating the relationship with the customers. And this program has been very successful. We have, of course, a cloud platform that we built the application on. And our digital stylists have been able to improve our average order value and reduce the amount of returns that we've had. Then we've been focusing a lot on creating deepening our customer relationships. Our sales associates at Neiman Marcus have always had very, very deep relationships with their customers. But the problem is they've had most of that knowledge around about the customers in their heads. So we've had to make a lot of investments in new customer platforms to be able to capture the data that the sales associates have and be able to enhance that data so we can share it with other stores and to be able to create better relationships with the customers and then start to create a lot more personalization and automation. Things like reasons to contact the customers that we give to our sales associates. So in case they can't remember what the customer last bought or what the next best action is to take with that customer, they can use the new tools that we're building. And then we're also creating the magic. We're creating new sales associate tools, things that they can use to create styles and looks and be able to develop those relationships with the customer. And then from a technology standpoint, we've had to build all these new capabilities. And like I said, we had already made great progress on our digital transformation. So this allowed us to now focus on the new capabilities that we need for our new initiatives. So we work very, very closely with our business partners to create an architecture plan and a technology roadmap. And so we worked hand in hand with our business partners on this. And what we decided to do was create composable parts and composable architecture. And so as my head of enterprise architecture says, we're no longer going to work with puzzle pieces. We're going to work with Legos to be able to create these new platforms. And so we're creating 5 new platforms to be able to support our strategy. First is our customer platform. And this customer platform is all around our customer data, but then also capturing every interaction that we have with our customers, whether that's through text, email, phone calls even, any communication that our sales associates have, our call centers, our online, or either online, are all captured throughout this customer platform. And then we've also created a data decision engine. we could quickly be able to do this, building on the data platforms that we've created in the cloud. We'd be able to create some, AI and ML capabilities. So you can think about this as the brain of the operation. So this is informing the sales associates how to contact the customer, what to say to the customer, and even creating the personalization that we have with those customers. And then we've created also an engagement platform. So the engagement platform is the UI UX layer that we can use to differentiate our different brands. So from the sales associates to our websites and to every customer interaction can be customized by a brand and have a specific brand representation. Then we have our product platform, which is all around the product and all the attributes associated with the product and how we're styling those products for the customer. And then we have an omni-commerce platform. So we're also building a new platform that can work online and in-store for checkout. So our sales associates can share or the customers can share their checkout with the sales associates so the associates can add to their bag and check out for them. So all these new capabilities are really driving the strategy to become a preeminent luxury customer platform. And then we've had some recent new accomplishments as well. So we just opened in March our new Neiman Marcus store in Manhattan at Hudson Yards. And this is a beautiful new store that has new technology as well. So we have some innovation technology such as smart fitting rooms that we built in the cloud, and even a digital stylist area and digital stylist platform is in the store. And then just recently, a month ago, we relaunched our new Bergdorf Goodman Reimagined website. And so this is a luxurious website that really represents the Bergdorf Goodman brand. And it represents the stores and the luxurious style. So new imaging, new content, very curated product with on the new website. And we have a mobile application as well. So go download the mobile application and tell us what you think. So the kind of takeaways that we have from our transformation is first the business relationship that we've had between the technology organization and business. Although we made good progress and started ahead of the business in our transformation to be able to be ready for the business strategy. But once we were able to form a business strategy, we worked very closely with our business partners to create an architecture plan and roadmap. And they have been very involved in the technology side of things and helping us to build the new plans. And then also the architecture, and being able to be much more agile, more flexible, and moving to the cloud has been a big part of what we've been able to accomplish so far, and that will really drive our transformation journey. So I'm very, very excited to be a part of Neiman Marcus, very proud of the iconic brand that we have at Neiman Marcus and being part of the architecting the future. So thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks. I love the part around culture and making sure you get the cloud center of excellence right. You know, in retail, even though retail can sometimes be considered laggards in technology adoption, we don't get the question anymore of why cloud. It's all how cloud. And at AWS, we can really help you in terms of, you know, how do you get that culture around being agile, and how do you get the speed of innovation that you see coming out of Amazon retail. And we'll talk to you about how you can help develop your DevOps folks and your DevOps teams and things like that. So make sure you talk to us on how we can help you there. So keeping this going, I'm going to bring up Fabio Luzzi from Tapestry, head of data science, and let him talk to you a little bit about what they're doing around AI/ML. Fabio? All right.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody for being here. I'm very excited. So in the next 15 minutes, I'll be taking you through a journey of business transformation, what I like to call data and AI transformation. So it's really about getting to a point where your company, a company, start leveraging data and artificial intelligence to inform better decision making and start making an impact on the bottom line. So it's really getting to a point where your data science team goes from being a cost center to a profit center, which is a beautiful feeling when that happens. So, I thought I would go over explaining what at Tapestry we mean by data and AI transformation, why we think it's a good idea, and how to get there. And then I'll have a few demo just to show you how we started getting traction by leveraging on these new technologies. So this is the framework, right? So basically, it's all about getting from A to B, where A is an hypothetical scenario where we have a company that has a lot of data, but it does not operate as a data-driven organization. And basically, what that means is that most of the decisions are made by humans or naive models alone. And the point is transforming into an hypothetical scenario B, where the same company, it's data-driven, which means that decisions are augmented by AI-driven guidance. Processes are transformed, leveraging artificial intelligence, and new processes are created, new customer experiences are created. So why do we think this is a good idea? Because by not leveraging the data that we own and we can control, we inevitably leave money on the table. Why so? Because most of the processes around decision-making are complex and they involve too many factors to just be addressed and solved by humans or simple models alone. On a data-driven organization, on the other side, we have the opportunity to creating a lift in revenue by optimizing processes and to inform better decision-making by leveraging data and artificial intelligence. So before getting into the how we do it, let's see where do you think we can leverage these capabilities to inform better decision-making. So as you know, retail is a very complex industry, right? So, from understanding consumer trends to helping merchandising and buyers making their decisions around investment, helping allocators decide how to optimize assortment and allocation strategies, marketing, obviously, and sales. So we like to summarize all this into two main areas. On one side, we have customer experience, which basically means creating personalized experience for the shoppers. So we can do that through market segmentation, better targeting, product recommendation that you can leverage across different channels, price sensitivity, propensity to buy. So all that combined, ideally creates a better experience for customer. And then on the other side, it's more what's happening on the back end, that it's less customer facing, but equally important, it's everything around supply chain, so investment, allocation, assortment optimization, real estate strategy. So there is a lot of opportunity where we can leverage AI to inform better decision making. And on the bottom, we like to highlight what we call foundational use cases. So in order to address some of the use cases on the top, we need to work on some foundational pieces that help inform all the others. So obviously, forecasting comes to mind. So you need better forecasting to be able to optimize pricing, demand planning, assortment, you name it. And also segmentation is another one. So how do we get there? Obviously, it's not easy, right? So imagine a company that is a traditional company. If you think about it, Coach has been around since 1941. So we are a traditional retail fashion company. But we do have a lot of data. With around 90% of the business being direct to consumer, we own and we control our own data. So it would be silly not to leverage that if we can, right? So how do we get there? So these are what we think the building blocks of the transformation. So it's not easy. And we have six factors on the slide. We need all of them. So if you solve 5 of them, it's not going to work. I will go through all of them quickly, but then maybe I will try to dig deeper on some that I think could be more interesting given this talk, but obviously technology. So we are in the business of building solutions, either for in-house end-to-end solutions or onboarding solution from third-party vendors. We still have to build a foundation. So we need the right technology stack. Obviously, we've been leveraging the cloud, and most of all, serverless applications. And I will touch upon this in one of the demos that I will show you. Obviously, you need the right team. It's not a one-man job. It's a teamwork effort. You need the right skills. Processes, this is an interesting one. So when we talk about processes, we think about processes internally in the data science team, so in your center of excellence, but also processes in the broader organization. So in the center of excellence of data science team, we obviously adopting an agile workflow. So now at Tapestry, we are fully agile, and the idea is really to be able to understand when something is not working as sooner as possible, so you can just scrape it and start from scratch. So we are on bi-weekly sprint cycles. We adopted a Scrum agile methodology, which is letting us being fast and be able to scale fast. And then when you think outside of your center of excellence, so when you think of the broader organization, the point is really to integrate with the business. So building the solutions, it's not difficult if you have the skills. What's difficult is for the business to adopt the solution and action upon it. So when it comes to that, then obviously it's not one thing only. It's a series of initiatives. You can think of business executive sponsorships, super users across the organization, dotted line reporting to your center of excellence that now become more of an hybrid model where you have data scientists sitting in the business area so that they are more on the front line when it comes to decision making. So it's a series of initiatives to make sure that whatever you build, it's more integrated into the business and gets used by the stakeholders. And use cases, obviously, you have to focus. It's really important to focus on the right things and to be able to prioritize them in the right way. Budget, it goes without explanation. And culture. This is probably the most difficult thing of all of the building blocks, right? So inevitably, when we talk about transformation, we create disruption. We augment existing processes by introducing new algorithms, new AI-driven methodology. We transform existing processes. We create new experiences. We are asking people to change the way they've been working for a long time, right? So there, we believe you need a lot of leadership skills, people skills. You need to be able to really explain why adopting this new technology it's good for the business. So, by educating people, but also by building a lot of prototypes, experiments to really show that you can have a lift on sales at the end of the day by adopting the new technology. So we identified 3 different kinds of analytics transformation, and basically 3 different ways of how we can change the way people work inside the organization. The first one we call additive. It's basically, we are not changing an existing process, we are adding flavor to it, right? So ideally by improving it, and we'll show a demo on it. Then we have transformational. Here we are really transforming an existing process into a different one, so this is probably one of the most difficult of the 3. And then innovative. So we create new experiences, no customer experiences. We created processes that were not there before. So I'm going to take you through 3 demos. One additive, going through a demand planning tool that we built at Tapestry. A transformational example where we really changed the way the business is informing assortment. And an innovative example where we built a new application, new customer-facing applications, where among other things, we can now deliver product recommendation directly to the customer. So this is an app that was not there before, so we are creating a new a new process, a new experience. So the first demo, the additive one, it's around demand planning. So the business challenge is really around getting important performance data around new products. So in retail, in fashion especially, you probably know that most of the products are new. So around 80% of the product in season are new products, which means you do not have historical information around the product. So it's very difficult to forecast and to anticipate the success of the product by leveraging data because you don't have data, right? So one of the way we can address this challenge is by finding products that are similar to the one you're looking at, and then pull a lot of KPIs and indicators that can help you come up with an expected performance. So basically what we did, and what we're going to show you in the demo, is we created an artificial intelligence algorithm that it's based on computer vision, so it's mostly image recognition. So by looking at the picture of the product, it finds similar products. And so I have a quick video to show you. Basically, the user looks for a product. In this case, the user looks for a Charlie bucket bag, a Coach Charlie bucket bag. The product goes through the AI algorithm and pulls out all the similar products, and quickly shows a bunch of important KPI. We also let the user curate the results by picking the products that are interesting for the buyers and the merchants, and create their own scorecard. So basically some kind of comparison feature where they can now quickly pull all the performance indicator of the similar products compared to the product they're looking at. And then they can add specific products if they don't find the product that they like to show. So as you can see, this is it's an additive analytical solution because we're not changing an existing process. The buyers and the merchants still do what they've been doing for a long time, but now they have faster access and sometimes even access to new information that can help drive decision-making around the investment. So I had to put a technical slide in here. Obviously, we're not going to go through every single details, but basically, this is the architecture behind the app that you just saw. So first of all, it's beautiful, right? It's like, but anyway, so the thing that I would like to highlight about this architecture is that it's serverless. So which means that everything is abstracted from the software layer. All the components here are managed by a third-party vendor, in this case, AWS. We don't own anything that is on this slide. And also another thing that is cool about serverless is that this app, it's basically a set of loosely coupled services linked to each other. So every icon on this architecture is basically a microservice. It's an endpoint that can be leveraged in any other application. Actually, there is one, if you recognize the SageMaker green brain icon, that's an endpoint that we built that we are also leveraging in another app. So the good thing about this serverless architecture is that it's very cost effective because we don't have to manage any server. It scales very quickly. It auto-scales based on the traffic that is coming in. And it's very fast. We're talking about milliseconds. You saw the video. I mean, the search is going through a catalog of hundreds of thousands of products.
Still got 15, 16.
And also, it's very quick to code deploy. So every time there is a change in the code baseline, it's very quick to deploy it and push it to production. So the second demo that I wanted to talk about is a transformational. So in this case, we're really changing an existing process. So traditionally, in-store assortment was not driven by AI guidance. So basically what we did is we built a customer-centric algorithm that can let us group stores, physical stores, in clusters based on customer profile, customer propensity to spend. So really customer-centric. And using this new algorithm, basically now we have a more optimized assortment placement into the stores. I think I'm going out of time, so I'm going to speed up a little bit. So the third demo that I wanted to show is what we call innovative. So here we are creating a new process that was not there before. The idea is really to deliver product recommendation directly in the hand of the consumers in stores. So these are not online product recommendations, but we send recommendations to customers in store, and the way we do it is by using an application. It's a web-based app. So basically what they do is when they get to the store, they simply scan a QR code, and they get directed to a web application. And they can have different experiences. They can create a wish list. They can get tailored offers to them based on price sensitivity, and they get product recommendations. So as you can see, that's how the app works. They scan a product in store, and then scrolling down, you see a carousel of product recommendation. This is not. The example that you're seeing on the screen is not customer-based. We don't even know who the customer is. We only know that customer scanned a specific product. So only by using the image of the product, we can find similar products that we can recommend, and we can tailor the recommendation based on the strategy. So if it's an upselling strategy, we recommend a product that have a higher average price. If it's a cross-selling, so we recommend different departments. But basically, what you're seeing is simply an API call to an AWS infrastructure that is leveraging an artificial model built in TensorFlow, an image recognition artificial intelligence model, and then is architected. It's a similar architecture to the one you saw before. So it's leveraging API, DynamoDB, AWS Lambda. So fully architected on AWS. So basically, that's what I had. Yeah, back to Tom.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Fabio. So I love the theme on, again, on culture, and also one key slide I saw in there is a lot of the ML work that we're doing is retailers don't really know exactly what they want to do with ML. So I love that slide where you started categorizing all the areas. So we are running a little late here, so I want to get our next speaker up. So with that, if you could give a hand for Rodrigue Schaefer, Director of Digital Foundation from Zalando, to talk about their journey.
Hi, I'm excited to be here too. I have to speed up a little bit, so can't go into all the details. So I will start with introducing Zalando by showing you a video which gives you an impression of our brand personality and also how we embrace diversity and inclusion.
Out of the dark, you are a light. You are the world. Go set it alight. If they say you're too big, show them how big you can be. You feel alone? Let's be alone together. Because when you stand, we stand with you. You are not just enough. You are much, much more. Free to be yourself, always. Find your style at Zalando. Zalando, free to be.
Okay, you guessed it probably, it's about fashion too. We want to be the starting point for fashion. We believe that for somebody who wants to fulfill their fashion needs, it's better to go to fewer destinations than to many. So our way to do it is to be very partner inclusive, so we get all the great brands onto our platform, and to be customer centric and build deep customer relationships. We are Europe's leading online fashion platform. So last year we had over 5 billion in revenue, over 29 million active customers, And we have around 14,000 employees, so it's a big company by now. We're selling in 17 countries, but just in Europe. We started in the German-speaking countries and then expanded from there. But all of this would not really be possible without technology, as you know. So I'm going to tell you about the 11-year-long journey and the key decisions which we have taken during that time. It all started in 2008 with the idea to sell shoes online. And at that time, this was actually not yet a really proven business concept. So there were a lot of concerns about customers sending shoes back because the size doesn't fit. And we had to prove that we can deal with that. It was not really something where we had to prove that we are technically capable of setting up an online shop to sell something. Right? So what we did then was we chose an existing e-commerce platform, which was very popular at that time, using PHP and MySQL. And we went from there and grew our business. We did a lot of TV ads at that time, very iconic ones and popular in Germany. And we've seen that the system became very unreliable over time. So it could not really handle these peak loads, which you usually have when you do TV ads. We started tuning it and tuning, but there was a point in time where we could do nothing anymore. So there was a point in time where we had to break free of the limits the system set to us. And we decided in 2010 to build our own e-commerce solution. We chose proven technologies for that, so Java and Postgres, technologies which were out there for already more than 5 years, and we focused on stability and performance, mostly due to the experience we had in the years before. So this was really our focus, was very database heavy, what we did there. But from an architecture perspective, what we did was building a monolithic application at that point. We also had to be very quick because our current solution was not really working out anymore. So we did this in 3 months. After that, we started adding features and features and features on top of that. So in Europe, when you go, for example, to another country, when you expand, you have to build features in which take care of new payment providers popular in the other countries. You also need to take care of new delivery providers, which you need to connect, right? And we also expanded not only geographically, but also from an assortment perspective. So we expanded from shoes to include other fashion categories over time. After 5 years, there were 3 major challenges which we observed in our organization. 1 was the speed of innovation. 2 was the productivity of our engineering teams. And 3 was the growth of our engineering capability. Let's have a look there. So if you look at innovation, if you have one large code base, then you have an increase in complexity over time. Complexity also impacts how many bugs you have, how many side effects you have. So it becomes increasingly harder to put something new into that code base without breaking something else. You have rigidity because on the one hand, to contain these bugs and side effects, you introduce very rigid processes which basically try to kill any variance and detect all the bugs beforehand. And rigidity because due to the fact that we had a monolithic architecture, everything was built in the same programming language, we were locked in from a technology standpoint. So we could not really benefit from all the innovation which took place during that time. Lead time is another very important one because we were hosting in our own data centers at that time, and when you're hosting in your own data center and you want to set up new servers, provision new servers, this is a matter of weeks or months and not a matter of minutes. So this is really limiting your ability to just put a team out there with some new idea and have them go. From a productivity standpoint, you had shared ownership, meaning a lot of teams were actually working on the same code base, meaning you had extra efforts on coordination to deal with this. You also had extra efforts on quality assurance because when you changed one small thing, you had to test the whole application again, fully. And we had a release train model, which is also very typical in such a situation. This is a weekly or bi-weekly cycle in which releases are done. And this normalizes the pace at which teams are actually going because they all release at once. You have to wait for the other teams. It doesn't matter if you're the fastest team in the company or not, you have to wait. And it can be that this release train doesn't really go because we find bugs or we have to roll back. Then, when you look at growth of the engineering capability in this case, you see that with such high complexity in the code base, onboarding is very, very slow. People are reluctant because they're not confident that they can change something and this is then actually working afterwards. So you have a very long onboarding time, you have slow hiring. This is mostly because in 2015, where we were seeing these problems, the tech stack we were using was already over 10 years old. And if you look at the new generation of software engineers coming from university or coming from some small startup, we were not really sexy for them. We were having outdated technology, you could say. And we had the problem of diminishing returns, meaning due to all these issues, the more people we put into the teams, the more teams we created, the worse the situation became. So, the tower has grown a bit until now, and we've seen that we had to change something because the situation wasn't really looking good. So we wanted to increase the ability to innovate, we wanted to reduce the time to market for new features, and we want to enable growth of our engineering capability. So what we did is we chose a microservice architecture. And why? To put it simply, if you have microservices, you break up your big functionality space or problem space into manageable chunks, which can then be handled by single teams. These microservices are tech agnostic, meaning you can use any kind of technology which you want for them. You can literally use the best tool for the job. And you have team independence due to the loosely coupled context in which microservices operate, meaning teams can just go and deploy whenever they want without impacting the others. The only key requirement for this, which is important for this talk, is that to go with microservices, you actually have to be able to rapidly provision new server instances, which is not possible in your own data center. So that was a point in time where we decided to move into the cloud. In 2015, we chose AWS as our cloud provider, and we started our cloud migration by rebuilding the functionalities we had into cloud-native microservices. There is, of course, also the option to go lift and shift, but lift and shift would not have actually solved the issues we've seen. So we decided to go this way. Now, today, we have more than 90% of our footprint in the cloud. We follow a single cloud strategy, mostly because this reduces the operational complexity which the engineers have to face. And this has a lot of positive impact in many different areas. From your basically operational viewpoint, meaning that incident handling is way faster, you have better or more focused training of your engineers. It's more cost effective. So there are a lot of positive aspects to that. And the main aspect is that moving to AWS allows us to have our engineers focus on things which matter to our customers and to our partners and to us. So if you look at it in the fashion space, we heard a couple of things today already. There are many challenges which are very specific and which need to be solved. So size and fit is probably the most prominent example. How can we find out what fits our customers before they send it back? Personalization and recommendation is another very important aspect. We have 450,000 products in our catalog. This is like a huge number, and we need to find the small part of that which is actually relevant to the customer and show it to them. We have other ideas around how to connect with partner brick and mortar stores, for example. And the last point I want to make here about this is, right now we have a very strong focus on what we can do with technology to enable sustainability within our company. So we have different ideas there, and we want to focus on that topic in the future a lot more. We've seen that many of the challenges in the fashion space can actually be tackled with machine learning and data science. And since a couple of years, we've been investing heavily into that space. Right now, we have around 50 models running in production, solving different problems. So from the one I mentioned to, for example, also things like price and trend forecasting, sales forecasting, and others. So takeaways from this is your tech decisions are bound by the scale at which your company operates at a certain time, and obviously also by your business goals. And the other one is, and this is really key, focus on what matters to your company. Don't focus on things which are basically commodity, which you can get from somebody else, which is usually better and often more cost effective. We also have 2 related breakout sessions, going a little bit deeper into the technical topics. I stayed a bit high level here. So we have one which covers how we run Kubernetes clusters on AWS, and another one which goes into SageMaker a little bit more and shows how we work with SageMaker and what we did to orchestrate that. That's it.
All right, thanks, Rodrigue. Nice job, thank you. So, okay, I know we've run a little bit over time, so just real quick to wrap this up, there are a lot of related breakout sessions, including what Rodrigue just told you about. I would encourage you to go to the session guide, and if you just type in retail, it'll bring up all the RET sessions, as well as other sessions that our service teams are putting on that are relevant to the retail space, such as you see down there, a lot of the AIM stuff. Also with that, I would argue or encourage you not to miss a lot of the announcements, like last year, for example, because of the retail team here at AWS and our work with the service teams, we announced Amazon Forecast and Amazon Personalize. So under embargo, I cannot talk about, but I would encourage you to listen to what Andy's going to announce tomorrow, as well as on Wednesday at our Partner Summit. Again, AWS Retail has the largest ecosystem of retail partners that you always have wanted to work with, so you'll hear some announcements in that. And if you're here in the US for January at NRF, make sure you come see us. We have a rather large presence there, and we can deeper dive with you on some of the things that we're doing to help out our retail customers. Also, tomorrow night, you're welcome to join us at Mott 32 from 6 to 8 p.m., where the entire retail leadership team will be there to have conversations with you over cocktails. So with that, thank you. Again, I know we went a little over time, so I appreciate you hanging around with us. So enjoy the rest of your week here at reInvent. And again, see us tomorrow night at Mott 32. Thanks.